You lost me the moment you thought I was a fool." My cheating wife's lips parted slightly, but no words came. But this wasn't the beginning of my story. No, this was just the moment she finally realized how badly she had screwed up. Do you ever feel that something's off, but you can't quite put your finger on it? That's where it started for me. For years, Emma and I had what I thought was a good marriage. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but we were solid. At least, that's what I believed. Then, she started changing. She'd turn away from kisses that would lead to intimacy, and tell me she was too tired whenever I wanted to be close to her. I chalked it up to work stress. Long hours, deadlines, exhaustion, it made sense. So, I did what any good husband would do. I stepped up. I took on more chores, gave her space to relax, and made sure she didn't have to worry about anything at home. She noticed, and even thanked me for it. But nothing changed. She was still distant. Then, she started coming home late. Every night another excuse. Meetings ran over. I had to stay back and help a coworker. Traffic was bad. Weekends became her errand time. She'd be gone for hours, always with a vague explanation. Just some shopping, she'd say. But she never came back with bags. At this point, I still wasn't thinking the worst. Maybe she was just going through something. Maybe she needed space. But then, she started guarding her phone like it held nuclear codes. That was the first real red flag. Emma had never been that protective of her phone before. We were married. There was nothing I shouldn't be able to see. But suddenly, her phone was glued to her hand. She'd take it everywhere. To the bathroom, to the kitchen, even when she was just stepping outside for a minute. If I so much as glanced in its direction, she'd turn the screen away or press the power button like she was hiding something. That's when I knew. Something was definitely wrong. I tried being subtle. Asked casual questions. Who are you always texting? What's so interesting on your phone these days? She'd laugh it off. Just work stuff, she'd say. But her laugh was forced. She was lying. I waited for the right moment to check her phone when she wasn't around. But she never left it unattended. Not once. That's when I realized, if I wanted the truth, I couldn't wait for her to slip up. I had to take matters into my own hands. I didn't jump to conclusions. I needed proof. Cold, hard evidence. So, I came up with a plan. I installed tiny security cameras in our bedroom and around the house. Nothing obvious. Just small, discreet cameras in places she wouldn't think to check. Then, I told her I'd be traveling that weekend to visit family. I made sure to bring it up casually and made it sound like a last-minute thing and added, I might spend more than a week. I just need some time to catch up with them, I said. She didn't seem too disappointed. Actually, she seemed relieved. That was all I needed to know. I packed a bag, acted normal, walked out the door, and drove off. I actually went to visit my family. I spent time with them, ate meals, and laughed at old stories. On the surface, I was present. Inside, I was somewhere else waiting to see if she will fall for my plan. The entire time, I kept my phone close. Every few hours, I checked the camera feed, but nothing suspicious happened. Then came the next day. It was early morning when my phone buzzed. The motion was detected outside the house. I tapped the notification to see the front door camera picked up something. Someone was at the door. It was David. I watched her open the door for him. No hesitation. No second-guessing. Just a smooth, familiar exchange, like they'd done this 100 times before. And maybe they had. He stepped inside, and she leaned in not just for a casual hug, but something intimate. A kiss, with David's hands grabbing her behind. I stepped outside my parents' house. I couldn't watch this sitting around my family. They didn't need to see me like this. After serving him coffee, they chatted in the kitchen. Later they started kissing again, and this time, they entered the bedroom. I tapped to switch cameras, flipping to the one in our bedroom. They began making love on our bed. My bed. The place where she used to lay beside me. And now, she was there with him. David. Her coworker. The same man she had laughed about over dinner. The one she had stayed late helping. the one she swore was just a friend. The betrayal wasn't just in the act. It was in how easy it was for her. Like I never mattered. Like I never even existed. My breathing stayed even. Controlled. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't drive back in a rage. Instead, I watched. I memorized every single detail. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was war. And I wasn't about to lose. When I got back from my trip, I wasn't thinking about confrontation. I wasn't going to scream, argue, or demand an explanation, because honestly I didn't need one. I had seen everything with my own eyes. My wife, Emma, had made her choice. Now it was time for me to make mine. First, I had to find David's wife. She was just as much a victim in this mess as I was, and if there was one person who deserved to know the truth, it was her. I sat down, opened my laptop, and started searching. I didn't know much about David's wife. I don't even know her name, but my wife had casually mentioned he was married. In today's world, everyone leaves digital footprints. After a few minutes, I found her Instagram and Facebook tagged by David on a family post. Her name was Sophie. I typed out a simple message. Hi, Sophie. You don't know me, but I have something important to tell you about David. Please respond when you can. No reply. An hour later, I sent another. This isn't spam. I'm Emma's husband. I have proof that David is cheating on you. If you want to know the truth, message me back. Still nothing. The next morning I tried one more time. I know this is hard to hear, but I have evidence. When you're ready to see it, let me know. This time, she replied. Where can we meet? We agreed on a small cafe, not too busy, not too quiet. Somewhere neutral. I arrived early and waited, scrolling through my phone until I saw her walk in. She didn't look like a woman expecting her life to fall apart today. She was dressed casually, her hair pulled back, just another woman going about her day. I let her order before I approached. Sophie, she turned, eyes flicking over me in confusion. Yes. I pulled out the chair across from her and sat down, keeping my voice low. I need to talk to you about David. Her posture stiffened instantly. Who are you? I'm Emma's husband. I am married to your husband's coworker. Her expression shifted. First confusion, then unease. Okay. I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. I need you to see this. She hesitated before picking it up. The second she pressed play, her entire body went rigid. I watched as her face went through every stage of heartbreak. Shock, disbelief, devastation, then fury. When she finally put the phone down, she let out a shaky breath. That son of a... She cut herself off, pressing her fingers against her temple. I know, I said quietly. She shook her head, staring blankly at the table. I knew David was up to something. I knew it. I wonder how long he has been running around outside. Then, she exhaled sharply and looked up at me, her expression unreadable. So what now? What do you intend to do to your wife? She asked. That's when the idea struck. Why should we suffer in silence, while they enjoy their little secret? I said, voice calm but firm. Let's make them feel the humiliation they deserve. Sophie sat back, confused. Maybe she's wondering if to trust me, but after what felt like a minute, she responded, let's do it. At that moment, we weren't just two strangers linked by betrayal. We were partners. I told Sophie I would think of a plan and get back to her. Days after meeting Sophie, my wife came home so late. When I asked her what happened, she said she was included in the committee to oversee their annual staff event, and the meeting took longer time. I remembered that Emma's company held an annual corporate event, a formal gathering where employees dressed up, drank overpriced champagne, and patted each other on the back for a job well done. This year, for the first time in our marriage, she hadn't invited me. That was enough to set off alarms. I casually brought it up one night while she was getting ready for bed. So, the company event is weeks away, right? She barely glanced at me. Yeah. I waited for her to say more. She didn't. Are they not allowing +1s this year? I asked, watching her closely. There was the slightest hesitation before she responded. It's just for employees. A bald-faced lie. The next day, I mentioned it to Sophie. She scoffed. David has only taken me to that thing once, and that was 3 years ago. He always goes alone. So both Emma and David were going to the event together while pretending to be single. Good to know. It didn't take much effort to pull some strings and secure VIP invitations for myself and Sophie as a couple. I wasn't going to crash the event. I was going to own it. The night before the event, Sophie and I met up at a hotel lounge to go over the plan. We go in, we smile, we act like a couple, I said. We don't acknowledge them at first. Let them sweat. Sophie swirled her drink thoughtfully. We make them watch us, wondering if we know. Exactly. We planned every move. We were going to walk in there looking like the kind of couple that turned heads. Tomorrow night, the game would change. The next day, Sophie and I walked through the grand entrance, moving with purpose. The venue was packed. Round tables covered in crisp white linens, a stage set up for speeches, and clusters of people engaged in polite conversation over glasses of champagne. I spotted Emma almost instantly. She was standing near the bar, mid-laugh. But the second her eyes landed on me and Sophie, her smile vanished, and for a split second, she just froze. David, standing beside her, wasn't any better. He had a drink in his hand, and when he saw me with his wife, he coughed, gripping his glass, his face turning red as he struggled to swallow the shock. A few people glanced his way, confused, but no one understood what was happening. I did, and Sophie did. Sophie and I played our roles flawlessly. We clinked glasses, whispered to each other as if sharing private jokes, and swayed to the music when a slow song played. To anyone watching, we looked like a real couple, a happy couple. Emma tried. Every few minutes, I felt her watching me, her gaze filled with something between disbelief and panic. She shifted uncomfortably, like she wanted to come over, but didn't know how. Like she was losing control of something she never expected to slip away. David, on the other hand, looked like he was suffocating. He barely spoke, barely moved. Every time Sophie laughed at something I said, he seemed uncomfortable. Good. Let him sweat. Emma finally gathered the courage to approach me. I saw her weaving through the crowd, her expression neutral, but the tension in her shoulders gave her away. She was nervous. She should be. She waited until I was alone, catching me just as I set my drink down on a cocktail table. The moment I looked at her, I saw it, the cracks in her confidence. Her voice was quiet but sharp. What the hell is going on? I didn't answer right away. I let the question hang in the air, let her feel the weight of the moment. Then I looked her dead in the eyes, my voice calm, steady, final. You lost me the moment you thought I was a fool. Emma flinched. Her breath hitched, her lips parted slightly, but no words came. I watched the realization sink in. I knew. I had known for a long time. The affair, the lies, the arrogance of thinking I'd never catch on. And now she was standing in front of me, powerless. After giving Emma a shocker with my response, I took my time. I walked up to the MC. Hey, I said, keeping my voice low. Mind if I say a few words to everybody? The MC hesitated. It wasn't normal for a guest to just request the mic like this, especially at a corporate event. But after a brief pause, he nodded and handed it over. I turned to face the room. The crowd was buzzing with conversation, people laughing, drinks clinking, and the usual high-energy chatter of a company event. They had no idea what was coming. I tapped the mic once. Thump. The noise died down almost instantly. 100 eyes turned to me. I smiled. First, I want to thank this company for hosting such a wonderful event. My voice was steady, even friendly. No one suspected a thing. Emma was somewhere in the crowd. I let the moment stretch just long enough before I tilted my head slightly and added, "But I do have a question. Does this company endorse workplace affairs?" The air shifted. Conversations halted. People blinked, exchanging confused glances. Some chuckled, thinking it was a joke. I continued, because it seems my wife, Emma, thinks so. She's been having an affair with David. Boom. The reaction was instant. A sharp intake of breath rippled through the room. Gasps. A few muffled whispers. I could hear someone awkwardly clear their throat. The glasses stopped clinking. The silence was thick, suffocating. I turned my head slightly, just enough to see Emma. She wasn't moving. Frozen in place, eyes locked on me. Mouth slightly open, like she wanted to say something, but couldn't. David? Staring at the floor. Not even trying to defend himself. Like he wanted to disappear into the ground beneath him. I didn't flinch. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't drag it out. I believe a company of this reputation should investigate such behavior, as it taints its public image. I handed the mic back. No dramatic pause. No need for more words. Then I turned and walked away. Behind me, the murmurs turned into full-blown whispers, then hushed conversations. Some people were still in shock, staring at Emma and David like they had just witnessed the aftermath of a train wreck. But I didn't look back. I had done exactly what I came to do. The next morning, I made sure the truth couldn't be buried. I sent everything, photos and videos, to multiple sources. I didn't just drop it in one place. I made sure it spread. I used an anonymous email account and forwarded it to Emma's company's HR department, a few industry gossip forums, and even a couple of workplace watchdogs. No names. No explanation. Just the cold, hard proof. By midday, the fallout had already begun. Emma and David were fired on the spot. The company couldn't afford the scandal. A workplace affair, proven with evidence? That's the kind of thing that stains a business, and their employer wasn't about to let two people ruin their reputation. They cut them loose without hesitation. One moment they had careers. The next they had nothing. Emma tried to call me. 7 missed calls. Then a text, "Can we please talk?" I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. That same week, I filed for divorce. I didn't tell Emma in person. I let my lawyer handle it. No dramatic confrontation, no arguments, just cold paperwork landing in her hands. She tried to call me, but I wasn't picking up. I blocked her numbers. She showed up at my parents' door, tears in her eyes, talking about mistakes and second chances. I wasn't there. When she realized she couldn't get my parents to make me change my mind, she finally sent a message with her sister's number. "Please just say something." I replied, "Sign the papers." And she did, because she had no choice. She walked away with almost nothing. No house, no career, no sympathy. Everything she threw away for her affair, she didn't get to keep a single piece of it. Sophie handled her divorce the same way, but she played it even better. She made sure she got as much as she legally could from David. And he didn't just lose his wife. He lost his stability, his savings, and any hope of walking away clean. Sophie and I spent more time together. At first, it was just two people recovering from the same wound. But as days turned into weeks, something shifted. It wasn't just revenge or shared anger anymore. We actually understood each other. We wanted to take things further, but we agreed we wouldn't rush into anything. Not until the divorces were finalized. Not until we both knew we were ready. She respected that. And so did I. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was making choices for myself. Not out of anger, not out of pain, but out of clarity. And that was the real victory. As I sit here, thinking about everything that happened, I realize something. I didn't lose a wife. I lost someone who never truly valued me. And honestly, that's not a loss at all. I spent so much time wondering what I did wrong, what I could have done better, why she changed. But the truth is, when someone decides to cheat, it's not about what you did or didn't do. It's about who they are. And Emma? She was never the woman I thought she was. No more late nights wondering where she is. No more pretending not to notice the distance between us. No more walking on eggshells just to keep the marriage from crumbling. It was already broken. And Sophie? I never expected to meet someone like her in the middle of all this mess. She understands me in ways Emma never did. She knows what it's like to be betrayed, to feel discarded like you never mattered. And yet, despite everything, she still has strength and dignity. I respect that. Maybe she's just a friend right now. Maybe she's more. But one thing's for sure, she's nothing like Emma. And that alone makes her the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. At the end of the day, betrayal doesn't break you. It reveals the fools who were never worth your time. But that's just my take. What do you think? Have you ever been betrayed like this? Would you have handled it differently? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Hi everyone, welcome back. We've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. My name is Gavin. Some of the most